One. Boom. In there. What's up, Bret E?
Oh, yeah. What up, people?
What's going, man? Hey, it's been a little while, but we're back.
Yeah, we're back in effect. It's good to see everybody. We've been on the grind, getting it in, and things have been going really well for everyone. So we just wanted to come back and update the whole show for you.
Absolutely, man. Shout out, as Bret just said, shout out to all of you. I hope this comes to you in a great place. We have some incredible things to share with you today, some updates. We want to continue to see you all grow. So we decided to come back together again after we wrapped season 1, and this is an update to everyone on what's going on and some key things to help you all grow. So before we go any further, we're going to pause, kick it over to my man Bret E to give you all some vital information.
So first of all, we want to continue the tradition with saying konnichiwa, ni hao, hola, and what up to everybody around the world checking in. And to let you all know right after that, do your own research. We are not financial advisors. We do not claim to be financial advisors. We are letting you into our own personal conversations that Alex and I have, every day. And we are just letting you in on the conversations, how we approach the market so that you can feel a little bit more comfortable approaching the market yourself. So if you go from episode 1 and all through the first season, you should be pretty comfortable. You should already have your account and already at least have like your ETF set up to where, you're tiptoeing into the market safely and securely with knowledge.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, man, let's get right into it. You ready, man? Let's do this. I think there's no way, man, we can move further but without getting to this hot topic. Man, some key things have happened since our last episode, man. Some things that are pertinent to not just the stock market but the economy as a whole. Some key emerging markets, man. Let's just to start right there, man. What's some of your experiences with what's going on and maybe how you're currently using it, man? How's that going?
Yeah, the block is definitely hot in AI or artificial intelligence. It has just taken over. Really, it is leading and pulling the entire stock market. To be honest, like every company is now scrambling to find ways that they can piggyback off of AI and use, saying that they are using it in their business to their advantage. And people are just falling, they're just jumping right into anything that's got anything to do with artificial intelligence. Also, Chat GPT, that has taken off like wildfire since the last time that we talked with everyone. So just to give like a little umbrella of Chat GPT is it's almost like a web browser that allows you. It's very similar to Google, but it's like Google when it wanted to grow up, like what Google wants to be when it grows up. So Chat GPT is basically, you can put nearly anything, any kind of question that you have into that search engine. It will spit you out the answer in a conversational format to where it feels like someone else is typing back and forth to you. It's that good. And I'm a member of ChatGPT. Like I have an account with them and I've used it, and it's good. It's almost scary good, but it's really, really effective. So people using this for things like so I'll give you a perfect example. So for one of my Airbnbs, I was creating like a new listing, and I'm in the process of gearing that towards travel nurses. So I went to Chat GPT and I said, give me 5 different Airbnb intros that would lend itself towards being picked by travel nurses. And so it spit out 5 different, like paragraph intros of different ability and stuff like that in like 60 seconds. So the thing is incredibly efficient.
Wow. Man, like now that part, that right there is I think where it's at, man. Like so you are much more like knowledgeable than I am in that area, man. Like the way I think you're gonna use it or how you just explained it. Um I don't know, man. It's something that I definitely have to learn more about to become more familiar with it. The fact that you've been able to use it like recently for your own business, I think is incredible, man. That's definitely something I have to get into, man. I have to learn. I'm gonna have to come onto the house, man. You have to break it down for me even more, man. So I think that's on point.
And it's pretty easy, like for everybody. It's very easy to start. It's basically as easy as it would be to start a new email account with a service. It's about that easy to start with ChatGPT and start playing around with it and asking it questions. And it's really cool, like the way you can set it up. I'm trying to think of another example. So you can gear it towards what you want by giving it kind of like presets. So like, for example, let's say if I had a business in the fitness industry, I could prompt ChatGPT and I could say, okay, pretend that you're an expert in the fitness industry for the past 20 to 30 years, and you specialize in coaching new fitness business owners into crafting their business and their websites the correct way, right? And then so you can prompt it with that, and then it will be more, their answers will be more geared towards that. So then you would ask it like, okay, how should I set up my website if I'm looking for clientele that are in like the 30 to 50 age range? Or you could say, give me examples of how I would set up my website if I were looking for clients that are 30 to 50 in Atlanta area. And then it might give you some kind of different things like that. So you can tell it. Oh, the other cool thing about it is, like, let's say if you are looking for like math concepts, for example, and you're trying to explain calculus, maybe you can say, you can put in the problem that you're having to solve, and you could say, explain this to me like I'm a college student. And then if you don't understand it at that point, you can say, explain it to me again as if I was a high school student, or explain it to me as if I was a middle school student. And it will like shorten and simplify it every time to make it easier and easier until you get it. There's so many different ways that you can craft it if you once you understand how to get the prompts to work in your favor. It's like game changing.
Now I know we were like talking like about this earlier, and like you brought this concept up that you actually had mentioned before, picks and shovels.
Yes.
Life insurance for our kids.
For our mortgage.
For our retirement. But didn't want to deal with a long application process.
The expensive premiums. The medical exams.
That's why we got life insurance with Ethos Life. Get a free life insurance quote today at ethoslife.com.
So whenever we look into a new market, when Alex and I look into a new market, one of the theories that we look at are like, what are the picks and shovels of that market? So how can we get a handle on the picks and shovels? So we take that back to, that concept comes from back in, I don't know, call it like the 40s, or maybe, no, it had to be earlier than that. Maybe the 1800s or 1900s, when there was the gold rush out in California. and people were literally like picking up their whole families on like wagon wheels and stuff and going across the country to discover new land in California because they said there's gold out in them dar hills, right? So people were selling their whole land in, let's say, Georgia or whatnot, and then they were moving out to California in search of finding gold and hitting it rich. Now, some people found gold and then they hit it super rich. And some people went out there and they spent their whole livelihood and they found nothing and they just bottomed out. But some people moved all their stuff there and started a business that was renting out picks and shovels to the people that were searching for gold. So it didn't matter if people found gold or not. If they're renting these picks and shovels all the time just to search for the gold, that business was getting money. That's the idea that I personally like, is finding what are the picks and shovels of an industry that we like. That's one of the theories that I go through when I'm looking for a company, or when Alex and I are looking for companies to invest in a certain sector. So a few of the leaders in the picks and shovel areas of artificial intelligence and ChatGPT are the companies NVIDIA, Microsoft, AMD, and those are a few of like the single companies that have a stronghold in the market. And then Alex actually has a really good experience with NVIDIA. If you want to share a little bit of that with the people before we move on, I think they would really learn from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, in just hearing about things that are emerging, like, I'm always doing research with the markets to be what many would call an early adopter or near the front end of a move. And that doing that research, I did come across NVIDIA, which was at this point in the game a more popular stock. I was able to catch it around, well, it was last year, but to get heavier invested into it in the fall around like the October kind of time period. And so I don't know, it's been a very good, one of my good positions. We'll get to that much later in the episode here, but it's been a very beneficial. I've enjoyed learning about like who's leading it, how it's being utilized in today's society. And as you mentioned earlier, it's, man, for many the top company that's kind of emerging in a sense in this whole like chips type space. And the good thing about this, Brett, is like, and I think you do a great job of this, man, of like, we don't have to be though like positioned into, and we're not again telling anybody to buy anything here, right? Just giving the information, but like you do a great job of like identifying broader topics like ETFs that hold a lot of these. And so I think it'd be great, man, even if you go into some of that of like, hey, what's an option to kind of utilize in like getting a foot in the door in like this kind of space. Like, what does that look like for you right now?
Yeah, so a safer way for people to, because whenever you're in an emerging market that is like exploding, sometimes, very often, there can be companies that will take off like a rocket, but then also explode like a firecracker, right? And then you could like lose everything because something goes wrong, or let's say, I don't know, like the government finds something wrong with a company and then they go after that company and then like all of a sudden it just falls right out. Or a lot of times in brand new markets where everything's exciting, there will be a lot of players that are vying for position, and then eventually either one company will start consuming a lot of those companies, which you know could be a good thing, or the company, like let's say this one company that a single company that we had invested in wasn't playing ball with like the bigger company that was gobbling up other companies, that they were trying to hold out to be the real competitor or something like that. And then the bigger company will just find a way to basically like starve the other company out in some way, shape, or form legally. So it's kind of like if you think about back when when there were like castles and people trying to take over the castle, a castle could be like really fortified and be like, no, we're not giving in. But then like the surrounding army could just like surround that whole castle and then just sit outside and wait until they ran out of food on the inside. And then they would just have to surrender because they got starved out. So stuff like that's been going on for years and years and centuries. But an ETF is a way to tiptoe into that space safer than picking an individual winner that you believe in. So the ETF that we found that's like a picks and shovels of the AI and semiconductor space is SMH.
So say it again, the name?
Yeah, SMH holds in it a lot of the semiconductors that make the brains that are driving the AI learning and computing power. So Taiwan Semiconductors makes a lot of the chips, and there's other companies. My understanding, I don't claim to be a expert on any of this, but as my learning is evolving, Taiwan Semiconductor are making the chips. It seems to be that a lot of people are cautious about investing in Taiwan Semiconductors because of the fact that it happens to be in the middle of China and it's surrounded by China, and there's a caution that a similar thing that happened in Russia where they invaded Ukraine could potentially happen with China and Taiwan. And if that happens, it would shake up the whole semiconductor AI space. So a safer step into this would be SMH, the ETF that holds a lot of these different semiconductors in different percentages. And the way your risk is spread out amongst a bunch of different companies, but so you still get access to having some of the benefit, but you might not be like in the front runner horse like NVIDIA is, for example.
No, absolutely. I think that's really key, man. I think ETFs are just solid opportunities, man, to, as you said, like kind of not be as risky, just for those who are more risk averse, like to kind of like, hey, I want to get in the game some, but not the having a huge run up. Maybe not. I may miss some of that, but I want to get a foot in the door, and I want to take advantage of some of that upswing and not get a huge hit, with the moves down in the market. Now, when you said that, you actually made me think about something. There is another, and after this, y'all, we're going to get into. I know, like many times we're asked, "Hey, what are you investing in, or what are you interested in?" So we're going to share about some holdings here in a moment, but. With SMH, obviously that's a really good ETF. One other one that came to mind as you were sharing that is one that's called it's a cheaper I don't say cheaper. It's not as the price is lower. Let's put it that way. Or some certain words there. It's SOXL. SOXL is still an ETF for semiconductors. It's just a lower priced option. And so that's just another name I kind of wanted to. It came to mind as you said SMH. just now, man, to kind of mention that. But man, let's get into this. Like,
oh wait. For
yeah,
the ETFs, if you could share with the people kind of like the top 5 maybe holdings in
I
SMH to kind of
yeah.
give an idea for people that didn't catch our ETF episode, to just explain a little bit more in depth about that.
No, absolutely. So, like, if you all go to a popular site that I use is Yahoo Finance. I use it quite a bit to set alerts for myself to get knowledge of what's going on in the markets as well. There are a number of different sites. Just one that I just personally use. And so when you go to like the holdings of one like SMH, you'll find companies like NVDA, the name we just talked about. You'll find names like Broadcom. You'll find names like AMD. You'll hear about TSM, Texas Instruments. You're going to hear about some of these companies in that ETF. And so that's kind of how we stay knowledgeable on maybe where to put a smaller position or a position period, as we get it from many times from seeing what those ETFs hold. And so those are a few companies that are in those particular ETFs that we just mentioned for sure. What are you interested in? What are some of the positions you're excited about? I know we're right at the halfway point of the year, but like, where are you kind of thinking or positioning some things, man? As of late, some top holdings, like, how'd that look for you right now?
Yeah, so let's say we'll do maybe like top 3 legs of the table. Apple is my primary holding. And then, because I just like that a lot. Now, this is a mind shift that I had from like maybe 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, I was dabbling in like weed stocks and stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but they were very speculative and they were very like a firecracker. And it was like,
Experience the most thrilling story coaster ever created, only at Universal Orlando.
it's either going to shoot through the roof or it's going to like pop and then pow, and then all of my full disclosure, all of my weed plays popped and exploded, and I lost literally at least 95%, some of them 100%. And so that's why you have a smaller portion that you earn your way to dabble in that by setting up a strong base that can keep you grounded as you kind of like explore different areas like a pioneer, but you got like a home base. So like Apple is my main leg, and then as part of my success cyclone that I was telling you all about in the previous episodes, because I own Airbnbs, and Airbnb has been phenomenal to me, you know, and has provided me choices in life that has been life-changing going forward. That's one of my stronger legs as well. So I use Airbnb cash flow, part of it, some of it, like, and then I buy Airbnb stock. So then that way, even when my Airbnb is doing well, everybody else that has an Airbnb, now that I own Airbnb stock, is working for me too. So I've got that money working for me while I sleep. And then one of my other strong legs is a company called Eli Lilly. And they are a pharmaceutical company. So they make a lot of different drugs that combat ailments and things like that. So they're a really strong leader in the pharmaceutical space. So those are kind of my 3 that I like right now. They have balance, like in tech, and then in kind of like real estate and tech, and then in pharmaceutical healthcare.
No, that's strong, man. I actually we were talking about that over the past few months. Like your Lilly position, man. Strong. That's a strong stock, man. That's one that I know you got in and have seen and have benefited. I'll put it that way from
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
those returns, man, for sure. So on my end, as far as like holdings, so a few ones that really caught my attention and really helped me grow. One is from an ETF perspective is QQQ VTI. Those have been really, really solid. And then on the more individual positions, Apple has been a good one. NVIDIA, Microsoft, like those have been really good as far as like return. Now, here's the thing about this is that like right now, and we're sharing this with you all like mid June, right? 2023 is that at the begin these first 6 months of the year, if you will, tech has been like on like a rocket.
Yeah.
Like it has been moving. And so if you've been positioned and really listened to what we shared last year, and you really position yourself into some of the things that we already talked about already, some of those things that we've already discussed, if you've done that, then you're now reaping the benefit of that, right? And so those are some of the positions that I've invested in, and it's really shared. I mean, some really, really good returns. In fact, Apple, Microsoft recently, NVIDIA, the companies I just mentioned have all broken all-time highs.
Shit. And Eli Lilly
Right?
just broke a all-time high yesterday, I think.
That part, man, like it's that amazed me to look at like so many times there's so much like fear, various things that are happening, but when you can look at certain things, basic things, and learn basic things regarding financial education and position yourself and have patience, man, that patience definitely just like pays off over time for sure,
And then
man.
if you wouldn't mind sharing just a little bit about like, so because I just want to shine the light on Alex for a second because so it just so happens that at like the time that we were both going strong in investing, I was putting a lot of money energy into building out this next rental unit. And then Alex was able to put a lot of money into stocks and into NVIDIA. I just want you to share a very conservative percentage increase, like not like the real one, but like take the real one, knock a little bit off of that, as far as the percentage of growth that you've had with NVIDIA. And this is after Alex put in a lot of the time and energy into the educational part of learning the charts and watching stocks, this stock like every day. And so like he was able to do a lot more, admittedly, a lot more work than I did during that time period. So he has surpassed me in the NVIDIA play. And I am just like so astounded. I just want you to share just a little bit with the people.
Nah, absolutely. And I wish there was one thing. So somebody else asked me the similar question, and they also thought that I was looking at these things like every day. But I told them like, nah, I don't. So what I do is I'm a big alerts person.
Yeah,
Like, I use like Yahoo Finance. Listen, y'all. I use Yahoo Finance. It's crazy. Like they should sponsor me. Like, like I use them quite a bit for those alerts. And so while I'm out doing various things, handling business, other things, and that alert goes off, it then tells me to go and look at the positions of where I am and kind of make changes. But yeah, so man, I find that this community is huge to me. So yeah, I've seen 100 plus gains. I've seen 150 plus gains. I even
this is
seen
percentage people. This is percentage. I just want to.
Oh yeah, percentages. Yeah,
I just want to take
100%.
a step back to put this in perspective for everybody. Like you have a mutual fund, right? A fantastic, like this is like talking about people like retirement funds or like asset managed funds that they might have with a financial advisor or something like that. And a yearly gain on something like that would be great would be like 10% if they bring you back 10% or something like that. So Alex is talking about he has gotten 100% gain on a play. Continue, Alex. I just wanted to
man,
put that up for people.
It's been an incredible journey because, like, so imagine this. So for me, I've invested for a number of years, right? But the last little over a year or so is when I really learned more about how to like basic things of like how the market moves. And that's what gave me more insight to get positioned. So again, like 100% gains, 150% gains, 200% gains on the same tickers or symbols that we have just been talking about. And just keep in mind, like I'm not an expert. I'm not a person to look at the charts. I don't have time for all that. So, but for me, it was I wanted to get the knowledge and understanding to be in position so that when the opportunity came, I was ready to take advantage of it. And I would not advise this part. Do not do what I'm about to tell you, but just listen to this, okay? That also made me like make some changes with like who and where I was investing, right? And so I did have I'll say an advisor to some degree that I had to let go and make some adjustments. Now I did that. Now keep in mind I'm a bit more risk adverse than some, and so I just saw that where I was positioned, it wasn't lining up with the things that I've been learning over the years. And so I made some adjustments. And because of that, it led to, again, like some of the gains that like we're talking about now. But like I would highly encourage you all, of course, I think financial advisors are great. You should have one. They're extremely helpful. I do think this as well with that. You should not invest in anything that you don't understand. So make sure you're asking questions, even of your advisor, to know, hey, what does this mean? What does that mean? That will greatly help you, so that we all can work together to continue to have great gains. Last thing, Brett, those things 100%, 150%, 200%, like in a year. Let's keep this in perspective. This is not normal. I want to say that like, that's not like, yo, it happens every year. No, it happened to be I had some positions when the market was extremely down, right? Some would say it was it was just that's like they were 50-70% off of their all-time highs. And I bought at those low points, had patience, and just let it do what it ended up doing. So yeah, man. That's been a major, and it's a big part of what I've been learning, which is patience with the market. Like we both have done like real estate for so many years, and so I was able to even take those some of those profits and move that over into the stock market, and that also greatly has helped over time as well, man. But man, hey, we gotta come to you, man. Like what? For you, like what have you been learning, man, these last 6 to 8 months? You always drop so much knowledge, man. You are listen, I'm gonna say this and then give you total the floor. You have been smashing it. You have been just rocking it, man, when it comes to like real estate, Airbnb, like man, like incredible what you are doing, man. Talk to the people about like what you have going on and how it can be helpful to them, like as well.
Yeah, it has just been a dream story of, and I, like I want to give like some shout outs to knowledge camps that, helped build my confidence to jump back into real estate. I want to shout out to Bigger Pockets, one of the largest real estate podcasts that's on the planet, and Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, and then also, like just reading and seeing so many instances of other people that were in similar positions taking the chance in real estate and doing it right, and coming out successful in it. And so this last build that I went through was a whirlwind. So it started off with the contractor that we ended up hiring. Now, keep in mind, contractor gotta be 60, 65 years old. I think he's gotta be. And so he gets in a dirt bike accident before the job starts and breaks his ribs. And I'm like, what are you doing on a dirt bike at 60 years old, first of all? But then on the other hand, it's like, live your life. You got to do what you got to do. And I admire that. But it set the whole job back at least 3 weeks, because you can't lift anything. Like your ribs, you can't cast your ribs up. Like it's really hard when you break a rib. You just got to like work through it. So he couldn't lift anything or move anything sideways or anything because his ribs were messed up. So that set the whole thing back like 3 weeks or maybe more. And so we went through the process of turning a 3-bedroom, 1 bath and a half unit into 2 separate units. One that would have a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and then a 1-bedroom, 1 bath. So we turned the half bath into a full bath and created another unit out of it, which was genius. And it really, really has benefited well to the point of where, and now it took like 6 months. Because there was so much that kept like setting us back in the process. But the contractor was extremely knowledgeable, and and I was working along with the contractor to learn the knowledge. Was fortunate to have Alex come over a few times to help a little bit in the process and see some of the process when you're taking something from like the bones of a property and like really creating a whole entire unit out of nothing that was there before. Basically just like the creation came from the creation in my mind. Then I sketched it out to see how that might work, and then brought contractors in to see how could my vision be created in the space that we had. And then we had to like create a washer and dryer space out of all that was a little task. And then but it was great, just learning back and forth. And now it has allowed me to put myself in a position to where I'm living for free now, because the time and energy of 6 months and thousands of dollars that I put into building out this idea allows the rental unit to pay for my living expense. So that has just been like, to go from like 3 years ago when I was paying rent for somebody else's property, right, to now have created assets that pay for themselves and are paying down the investment that it took to create it. Like, it's doing all of that by itself, and they are paying my living expense. It's just like, man, like, it's like living the books that I was reading so much of.
Yeah, man. What you just said, like I need for us, if you need to, like for those of you who are watching right now, if you need to, I think you need to go back on that part. Like, he just said 3 years ago. That's not a long time.
No,
3 years ago, right? 3 years ago, and now to be having an asset, something that puts money into your pocket, now be paying your living expenses. Like, so every time you get that notification or however it happens where someone is booking that space, like to know that you have an income coming in that are covering it. It reminds me of this. Like, imagine this, like we all stayed at hotels, resorts, etc.
This Caribbean jerk chicken makes me think maybe we should visit the islands. Islands.
Come on, Dad! Hurry
up! I'm good right here.
Try Zaxby's Caribbean Jerk Sandwich with hand-breaded chicken, banana peppers, and the tropical kick of Caribbean Jerk sauce. The new Caribbean Jerk Sandwich meal and Caribbean Jerk boneless wings. 2 more reasons you're going to get a kick out of Zaxby's.
And they're 75% full, 80% full, whatever else it is. We're used to going on vacations or whatever, spending money, having a good time, and leaving. But us putting money, us going and buying that space, leasing, renting that space or occupying that space for those 2 days, 5 days, however long it is putting money in someone else's pocket. And what you're saying is you've done that same thing for your personal life. Like, that's what we're talking. Like, you're living it, man. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's really, they have been much better than I thought that they were going to cash flow. And now it's just, just keeping the ball rolling into buying another one and buying another one, and kind of like when the market shifts back more favorable interest rate wise, would be like looking to pull money out of one of them to be able to put down towards the next units and stuff like that. And then eventually buy like an apartment complex and then work up that way and keep it going that way. And then, and one of these times it's going to be Alex and I going in on a real rental property or something of that nature. And then we're going to hit y'all with the real update.
Absolutely. Man, this has been really good. This has been excellent, man. Like, I just want to get your you know how you have like those like things that stick in people's mind, like final updates on anything. I definitely want to get that from you as well. Like any things you have around that. But like you said some key things, man. I want to make sure our audience hears, like, you're talking about collaboration, education, patience, assets. Make sure you all write down like these type of words, because if you will invest in yourself on these type of things, like you won't just be listening to 2 people talk about this. You also will be living. Some of you are doing it already or are beginning to do it. You will start living these things, and then you can then take it and then share it with somebody else too. But Brady, man, what kind of like last words, man, final just things, man. Do you, any other updates, anything at all, man, that you want to share, man? Like, it's all you.
The first thing that pops into my mind is just like, we only get one trip around, right? Like, you only get one trip, so you might as well go for it. Like put yourself in a position to where you can safely, start stepping into that arena. I'm not telling anybody to like go out and quit your job but like start building a bridge to where, like with ETFs, even, for example, start building a bridge to where you have amount of savings that's working for you in the market. And then like with things like VTI, that's one of our favorite ETFs, and just start building a bridge to where you can get to the point of taking a chance on something, because you only get one trip. Like we got to go for it. Like working for somebody else's, that one of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard. I don't even remember who said it, but is like, if you don't work hard for your dream, you'll spend the rest of your life working hard for someone else who went after their dream. And that's always stuck with me. It's just like, I get one trip around and I'm gonna spend like my whole life working for like such and such company, like my whole life just working for, like, use that company to help you like save and build and then invest and then take a shot somewhere. That's what's on my mind. What about you?
No, I think that's key, man. For me, I mean, I think I echo the same like types of things that you're talking about. I definitely echo those same like types of things, man. I think the only thing that I would add is I think the importance of us having a longer term perspective of what we can get done.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, yes, there are things in our present that are important. Obviously, that is the case. I think many of us have to look at, yes, where we are, but where we want to end up, and then do some reverse engineering. Like, what is the quality of life? What do you see life looking like 10, 15, 20 years? Just write it down. Just begin to invest time thinking about those type of things, then reverse engineer, and then ask those questions of, what types of decisions do I need to make now to, make steps towards that end goal? That would be what I would share. That's really helped me with distractions, with temptations, with things that I may want to just buy in the present. Like, constantly asking myself like those type things have greatly helped, which helps me do things like utilizing profits from a stock to buy something that I need to purchase, right? Like, check it out. Like, so like Brett, like I do not have currently, like, I do not have the latest iPhone. I don't have it, right? So I still have an older iPhone like right now. And so there was a time that I would buy every single year. I would buy the newest I every year, man. It never failed. I would, when it came out, I was buying it. I stood in those long lines, like waiting outside the door. It'd be cold, like 6 a.m. in the morning, waiting to get in line. I've done all of that stuff, right? And to be able to do things now, like, well, at some point, I'll just take some of these profits from this and use the profits from the company, from the stock, to purchase the phone. Like, doing those type of things now, man, it's been incredible. Or just using some of the dividends, keep owning the shares, but over time use some of the dividends. Like, even those type of things have been incredible, man. So that's what I would share for sure.
And then I would just share, between the two of us, we both know I have the best cell phone in
Can you please listen? Y'all lean in. Put in the comments, what type of phone do you have? Put it in the comments right now. This guy and this guy's phone. We'd be like mid conversation. I'm like, yeah, man. So I went to the store. Just hung up. Like, what's going on? What happened to your connection?
I've just never really been about getting like the new hotness that comes out. I think my phone is probably from 2019, maybe 2018, somewhere around there. That was 2019. Yeah, it's probably 2019.
Yeah.
But it still works fine. Like, it still gets me to the same internet. Hey, whoa. It still gets me to the same internet. It still gets me to the same stock market. Airbnb keeps checking in and telling me we about to send you this much money because such and such. Like, it still's working. So, but I appreciate everybody else that buys these brand new iPhones because Alex and I got Apple stock. So we thank you.
And we're running it up too, by the way. We bought it some good times, man, and we rolled the thing up from all-time highs. Even like from our contest updates, we were sharing people like with the contest. Ever since then, man, we've held all those shares, and now, man, the stock breaking all-time highs.
And I want to say, while it broke all-time highs, Alex is in the lead now in our 100 shares of Apple challenge. So I want to take my cap off and tip it to Billionaire Brown.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Like I think the way that we push each other is like really, really key. And man, I believe, man, that even in the comments, even in the community, man, that people will share the amount of shares or that they're buying, or that they even took the first step in doing it, man. And so, man, let's keep this going. If you all want some more episodes or what have you of these type of things, you're going to have to put it in the comments. Let us know below. Like, if you want some more of this. It's been a little while, so we want to bring you all a fresh update. Also, if you have not subscribed to these channels and turn on that bell, make sure you do that. Like, both of us share insight on a number of key topics, right? And so make sure you are getting those updates. Go down to the Instagrams and all that kind of good stuff. Make sure you're following, not just following, but also connecting and engaging. That's really, really important, man. Bret, shout out to you, man, for another incredible episode, man. Any last words?
Alex, tell the people where they can find you and where they can find like your information the easiest.
Yeah, so we'll have it in the description below, but also for me, it's just my name on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are, Alex_L Brown, all the same for me. How about for you, Bret?
Mine is, so I'm known throughout the internet as the most positive actor. So if you type in who is the most positive actor, all the stuff that comes up on those pages, or that's me. And I guess like my Instagram is at the Bret E. That's Bret with one T.
That's good. If you put two T's, you don't know what you're gonna find now. One T.
Won't be great.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Your time today. This was fun collabing again for sure.
Yeah, on the way out, we just want to keep with tradition and say sayonara, zaijian, adios, and we'll holla.
Peace. See y'all in the next one.